Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. And tonight's Raw was from NYCB Live, aka Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. And going into Raw tonight, there was a lot of people that were saying, "Oh, tonight's Raw, there may be some change on Raw tonight." Because people were saying, Paul Heyman was going to step in as executive director for tonight's Raw. It's going to take place after Extreme Rules. Then I saw another article saying that both him and Bischoff for SmackDown, they won't, take their executive director jobs until after SummerSlam. A lot of people were expecting change on Raw tonight. And did I see any change? The answer is no. There was no change tonight. So WWE made the fans believe that there was going to be change, which WWE played all of you. You all got tricked by WWE. Because this show tonight, this show was fucking shit. This show was garbage tonight. This show fucking sucks. I mean, the only thing good that happened tonight, I'll get to that when I talk about it. But what a shitty fucking show Raw was tonight. So let's get on with the review. So Raw opened up tonight with Brock Lesnar coming out, along with Paul Heyman. Heyman got on the mic. Heyman ends up saying that it amazes him that you tell people the truth, but they rather hear a lie. And Heyman was like, "We told you so." He says, just like he said Brock Lesnar cashed in Philadelphia and left as champion. Heyman ends up talking about their search for a contender at SummerSlam. Who will get to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship? So, I guess Brock Lesnar is going to be at SummerSlam. I said last night that, in my Extreme Rules review, that maybe WWE is not going to have Brock Lesnar compete at SummerSlam. Well, I was wrong. Looks like WWE is now letting Brock Lesnar compete at SummerSlam. So, Heyman says, he has all the stroke and about all the stroke he has around here right now. So Heyman ends up announcing that they're going to have a 10-man Battle Royal tonight. And this is a cross-brand Battle Royal. And he runs down the superstars who are going to be in this cross-brand 10-man Battle Royal. So the entrants in this Battle Royal were Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Big E, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley, and Roman Reigns. So those were your entrants who were in this Battle Royal tonight. So Heyman ends up talking about how Brock Lesnar, castrated Seth Rollins last night. How Lesnar ended up beating Seth and becoming the Universal Champion once again. Heyman ends up saying, if any of us were to step in the ring with Brock, we'd be risking our health and our welfare. Because we're all Brock's bitches. And that's how the other promo ended. But same old shit with Paul Heyman coming out there saying, my name is Paul Heyman. And I'm the advocate of the reigning, defending, and new Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. But yeah, so we had the cross-brand 10-man Battle Royal later on tonight, which was the main event. Then we had the first match tonight. It was a 2 out of 3 6-man tag team match. That was Ricochet and the Usos versus Roode and the Revival. And this match itself, it was meh at best. Ricochet and the Usos won the first fall. I say Ricochet and the Usos were pretty decent here. And you had Roode and the Revival. They end up winning the second fall. And, they're just doing this 2 out of 3, 6-man tag matches, 2 out of 3 falls because, they don't want wrestling during a commercial. That's why. So, the end of the match, Ricochet ended up hitting the 630 on Roode to score the win. So Ricochet and the Usos win it. After the match, you had the club, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, AJ Styles. They made their way down. Ricochet ends up diving on Styles. Ends up, diving through Styles from out of the ring. Carl Anderson and Gallows beat down on Ricochet. Usos end up making a save. And then the Revival then start attacking, the Usos. Sorry, my eye is so itchy. It's allergies. My allergies. So the Revival end up, attacking the Usos. Then we head, back inside the ring. The Usos end up fighting back. They end up hitting a super kick to the Revival. End up super kicking also Gallows and Anderson. Then you had Bobby Roode trips on Jimmy, and Jey Uso ends up following up. The Revival then hit the Shatter Machine, and Ricochet hits a springboard crossbody. Then AJ Styles comes in, phenomenal forearm to Ricochet, which Ricochet ended up selling that phenomenal forearm. Really cool. It was really awesome how Ricochet sold the phenomenal forearm. Then Gallows and Anderson end up hitting the Magic Killer on Ricochet. And that's how pretty much, it ended though. So the 2 out of 3 6-man tag team match. What is with these long stipulations? These 2 out of 3 6-man tag team match. What is with this? Who books this? I mean, who names it as Who names that as a stipulation? Give me a break. Well, no, very meh match at best. And then we go to a squash match, a shit match. The War Raiders versus Jaxson James and Vinny Gruber. Two local wrestlers. Squash match. War Raiders end up winning it. Viking Experience. I think it was Jaxson James. Who gives a shit? I didn't even give a shit. So there you go. Squash match. Then we saw a video from earlier today of Drew McIntyre accosting Cedric Alexander in the locker room. McIntyre was threatening him, with grievous bodily harm, and he was playing it off, like a joke. He was saying that he's going to humble Cedric Alexander tonight. So Cedric ends up saying to McIntyre that the joke will be on him tonight, on McIntyre. So that was that. And that led to the match. Cedric Alexander versus Drew McIntyre, which, to me was an okay match. They had this match because last week Cedric dressed as, Gary Garbo, with him wearing the Lucha mask and, having that match last week, which was the main event. And Cedric Alexander, he was pretty decent here against Drew McIntyre, and Cedric ended up winning the match, which was a good thing. So Cedric ended up pinning McIntyre. But all in all, it was an okay match. Then after that, we had a Finn Balor promo. And speaking of Finn Balor, news broke out tonight that after SummerSlam, Balor is taking a few months off to recuperate. So after SummerSlam, Balor's going to go away for a few months, which, it's good for him. But, to me, I think Balor should take, the year off, have him come back at, the Royal Rumble, have him come back in 2020 at the, at the Royal Rumble, give him, those months to recuperate. So that news broke out tonight. So back to this. Finn Balor was cutting a promo backstage. He says he doesn't dwell on the past and prefers to keep moving forward. He says he's looking to earn his title back. And he doesn't care if he has to go through or over Samoa Joe. Then we see Samoa Joe ends up, responding to what Balor said. Joe says, unless Finn calls the Celtic heroes of Old Down to smite him, he's going to walk out into yet another loss. And so we set the match. It was Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor. Sorry about that, but I was saying, we had Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor. But before that, we had Roman Reigns. He was being interviewed backstage. Roman said, he doesn't care about what anybody says. This is his week. He says the only way that he finishes the week off strong is by dominating tonight and going on to reclaim the Universal Championship. Yeah, and that was the little interview that Roman Reigns ended up cutting, but we all know that Roman was not going to be Universal Champion, because a lot of people will fucking hate that. Then we had Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor, which was meh in my opinion. Samoa Joe ended up winning the match. So after the match, you had Samoa Joe end up beating down on Balor. Joe goes to lock in the Coquina Clutch on Balor, but Balor ended up escaping. He ended up hitting the double stomp to Joe, and also a sling blade. Balor ends up hitting the shotgun drop kick to Joe. Then Balor ended up hitting the coup de grace on Joe. And, Balor ended up standing tall. And this is where, the only good thing of Raw happened tonight. So Finn's music, started like glitching a little bit. The lights go down. You had the LED sign where it says Raw on the ring. They end up going off one by one, and then the lights went out. The lights went down, and we hear something going on in the ring with Balor. And the lights, they start flickering, and we see, the mask that Bray Wyatt, wore, and it was actually Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt appeared tonight, finally, after 2 months of those Firefly Funhouse segments. Bray Wyatt finally appeared tonight on Monday Night Raw, and he was wearing, the mask, the Fiend mask. He has Balor clutched. He ends up hitting the Sister Abigail on Balor. And you just see a close-up of Bray Wyatt, with the Fiend mask, which was really creepy. Bray Wyatt, appearing tonight, it was amazing. It was fucking awesome. And let's see where WWE takes Bray Wyatt from here. Hopefully WWE doesn't drop the ball or fuck up Bray Wyatt. Where they take him next. But it looks like we're going to get possibly Balor versus Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. Hopefully at SummerSlam it'll be Balor, possibly. I hope he becomes the Demon. So it'll be the Demon versus the Fiend at SummerSlam. Hopefully they do that. That would be really cool. That would be awesome. To have the Demon and the Fiend go at it. So it looks like they're setting that up for SummerSlam. So, but that it was an awesome, appearance, from Bray Wyatt. He finally appeared. Then we saw Drake Maverick and his wife, Renee Michelle. They were checking into a hotel. They were under the name of Mr. and Mrs. 24/7 Champion. So Renee ends up taking offense to that, but Drake Maverick reassures her that, that this hotel is the perfect spot to consummate their marriage, because they were going to consummate their marriage. So Renee ends up turning and tells this man at the counter to give them the most romantic room they got and the most expensive champagne they have. So we see Drake Maverick. He ends up paying for the hotel and the room and the champagne in cash. Ends up tipping the guy, and they leave. And we see R-Truth peeking around the corner, and the referee. He had a referee there. Truth ends up asking if Hornswoggle is registered, and sleight of hands, $1 bill to bribe the guy. So we end up cutting backstage, going back to the arena, and we see the Street Profits, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. They're watching and speculating as to whether Drake Maverick is a virgin or not. And that was really fun. That was funny though. And the Street Profits were hyping up the women's #1 contender match, because later on tonight it will be a fatal 4-way to determine who will face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. So the Street Profits were hyping up that, and also the cross-brand 10-man battle royal. So basically just that. Then we saw Mike Kanellis, Jobber Mike Kanellis, backstage, and he was gonna have a match against Zack Ryder. Yes, Zack Ryder was on Raw tonight because this was in Zack Ryder's hometown of Long Island. That's the reason why they had Zack Ryder compete tonight. And so Maria ends up coming up. And Maria ends up saying that she's taking the match. And Mike reminds her that she's pregnant. So Maria says Mike is a loser and says she has better odds at winning. So Maria made her entrance, and the referee was refusing Maria to let her through and have the match with Zack Ryder. And by that, Mike Kanellis ended up, having time to catch off and say that he's got this. So Kanellis gets in the ring. Zack Ryder goes at it. The bell rings. Zack Ryder goes. And Zack Ryder ends up hitting the Rough Rider on Mike Kanellis. Zack Ryder beats Mike Kanellis in maybe 5 seconds. And that was that. Garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. Then after the match, Maria got on the mic. She ends up saying that their unborn child would have done better in the match than, Mike did. And she ends up walking off. But it was only a 5-second match between Zack Ryder and Mike Kanellis. Absolute garbage, like I said. Then we had the Club, Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles versus Lucha House Party. And a 6-man tag team match. Oh my God. WWE and their 6-man tags. Did we just see a 2 out of 3 6-man tag, which was the first match tonight? And we got to see another 6-man tag? Minus the 2 out of 3 falls? What the fuck? This is fucking shitty booking here. So, the Club and Lucha House Party went at it. You had Ricochet come out. He started beating up on AJ Styles. Gallows and Anderson end up beating down on Ricochet. And then, Lucha House Party came. Started beating down on Gallows and Anderson. Then, the match still went at it after the commercial was over. And the Club ended up getting the win. AJ Styles hit the calf crusher on Kalisto. So the Club ended up winning the match. And that was that. Overall, it was meh. The match. I did not fucking care for this. Did not give a shit. Then we saw Seth Rollins. He was being interviewed. Seth says he's physically and emotionally spent from last night. But what hurts most is that he doesn't have his Universal Championship. Seth ends up telling the world that Becky Lynch is one of the toughest people in the world. And that she's going to be okay. And he doesn't know if she's going to be here tonight. Seth says he vows to fight anyone and beat anyone until he can fight Brock Lesnar and beat Brock Lesnar. That was the interview with Seth Rollins. Then we had the women's fatal four-way match to determine who will face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. It was Carmella versus Alexa Bliss versus Natalya versus Naomi. And my God, this match was so fucking boring. This was a boring, shitty match. This match went on for too long. This match went on for so long that the crowd towards maybe the middle of the match were chanting, "This is boring. This is boring." Yes, that's how shitty this fucking match was. So you had Carmella. She ended up getting eliminated by Alexa Bliss. Then Natalya ended up eliminating Naomi with the roll-up. And basically, majority of what Alexa Bliss did in this match was she was standing outside. She wasn't wrestling. I mean, she was in the ring, for a few times. End up taking, bumps. And she was just standing outside more, not wrestling. And, not wrestling. So that's what Alexa Bliss did at some points in this match. Of course, you had Nikki Cross out there. But, like I said, Natalya ended up eliminating Naomi with the roll-up. Then it was down to Natalya and Alexa Bliss. So, Natalya ended up getting the win. She ended up locking in the sharpshooter on Alexa. Alexa ended up tapping out. There was a point where Nikki Cross got on the mic and she was yelling at the crowd saying, show some, respect for my friend Alexa. And then, the crowd started booing. So, Natalya, like I said, won the match. Sharpshooter on Alexa. Alexa ended up tapping out. So, Natalya wins. She gets to face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. And the only reason why they made Natalya win it is because it's in her state, of Canada. So that was the reason why they made Natalya win. And during this Fatal 4-Way, we had Becky Lynch watching at ringside. So after the match, Natalya was being interviewed. And Natalya says, Alexa sucks. She ends up saying that it's amazing what a difference a year makes. And she's excited to face her friend Becky Lynch in her home country of Canada. I accidentally said home state. I meant home country of Canada. Sorry about that, but I was saying, Natalya was saying that she was excited to face her friend Becky Lynch in her home country of Canada. And I accidentally said, home state. I meant to say home country of Canada. So it's going to be in Natalya's home country. And so Becky Lynch ends up getting on the mic. She ends up limping her way into the ring to make a statement to Natalya. Becky says she doesn't care that she's hurting because she came here to fight. And nothing makes her happier than fighting. She says it's time to drop the smiles and tell her straight up. Becky says she likes Natalya, but she's not getting a friend when she steps up. She says she'll wipe the floor with her in her home country. She says if there's one thing she's learned in all this, it's that she does a lot better in war than in love. And so Natalya ends up telling Becky that she must not be a very good lover. And she ends up calling Becky a bitch before promising her a war if she wants one. And so that's how the other promo ended. But like I said, the only reason why they gave Natalya the win is because SummerSlam is in her home country of Canada. It's going to be in Toronto, SummerSlam. So that's the only reason why. But all in all, this women's fatal 4-way was so fucking boring. It was a garbage match. And like I said, the crowd was chanting, this is awful. You could tell how this match went. And the match went on for too long. So then after that, we had Randy Orton. He was kind of promo from, Dark Room. Orton was saying how he's going to win the Battle Royal and attend to some unfinished business that he has with Brock Lesnar. This is first time we've seen Randy Orton since last we saw him was when he had the match with Triple H at Super Showdown. After that, he was kept off TV for a few months, for a month maybe. Then we had Miz come out for Miz TV. So he came out, he introduced his guest for this Miz TV, who was Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph makes his way out. Dolph says he wanted to come here and see if the rumors about Miz are true. So Miz ends up presses Dolph. And Dolph ends up accusing Miz of not trying to steal the show anymore. And he ends up saying that he's just being a corporate yes man. So Dolph ends up, needling him about not being on Extreme Rules. And Miz ended up firing back at Dolph, saying that he'd rather not be on the show than lose to Kevin Owens in 17 seconds. So Dolph ends up saying to Miz that Miz has become everything he hates, which is a walking gimmick logo t-shirt. And that everything wrong with this business because, Miz only cares about is fortune and fame. Just like Miz's wife, Maurice. So the Miz had enough of that. He ends up attacking Dolph. He ends up running Dolph, off up the ramp. And that's how the other segment ended. But I did not give a shit about this. Did not care for it. So I guess we're gonna get a match between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. So yay, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, okay. So then we saw Drake Maverick in his hotel room with his wife, Renee. And Renee ends up informing Drake that she's getting into something more comfortable and suggests that he do the same. So then we see Drake Maverick whips his robe off. He had the title belt around his waist. And he says, "Daddy's ready for love." And so Renee ends up coming out. And she ends up questioning him wearing the title. And the room service guy ends up knocking and is revealed to be one of the referees that was pushing the cart that had champagne in it. And Renee ends up saying that she's got a big surprise. She gets into the bed. Drake ends up telling, the referee to leave. And, it was referee Derek Moore, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And so Derek ends up taking his room service gear off to reveal his referee shirt. And Drake Maverick now is very scared. He was searching for R-Truth. When we see R-Truth, he crawls out from under the cart. And Drake ends up throwing the roses that he had at R-Truth. And so Truth ends up rolling up Drake Maverick. 1, 2, 3. R-Truth is now once again the 24/7 champion. This leads to Drake Maverick end up, chasing after R-Truth. So Drake Maverick only cares about the title, about the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 championship. That is his own wife. Wow. Just wow. So yeah, enough with this Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title on TV. Stick it to social media, as I keep saying. Stick it to social media. This does not have to be on fucking TV. Keep it to social media. It's getting views on WWE's YouTube page and on their social media. Stick it to there. Keep it off fucking TV. So then we had the main event. Cross-brand 10-man Battle Royal. The winner gets to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. Of course, it was Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Big E, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley, and Roman Reigns. But this cross-brand 10-man Battle Royal, it was decent, but, it was pointless in the end because, in the end, it was down to Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. You had Roman accidentally spearing Seth Rollins. Then it was Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns going at. Roman was trying to eliminate Braun Strowman. Seth comes in. Seth gets up, eliminates both Strowman and Roman. Seth thinks that he won the match, but Randy Orton was still there. He didn't get eliminated. And, it looked like Randy Orton was going to win it. He ended up hitting the DDT to Seth Rollins. Randy Orton looked like he was going for the RKO. Seth ended up, getting up, reversing it. And Seth ended up hitting the curb stomp to Orton. He then eliminates Orton, and Seth Rollins is your winner. And during this Battle Royal, we had Brock Lesnar watching from the stage. He was out there, of course, with Paul Heyman. So Seth Rollins ends up winning the match, which, okay. So Seth Rollins lost the title, the Universal title, last night to Brock Lesnar. So this was a way for them to do this Battle Royal just so Seth Rollins could get his rematch at SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. That's all this was. It could have been a new contender for Brock Lesnar, but this was just a way for WWE to have Seth Rollins get his rematch. I'm like, okay. So Seth Rollins wins. he gets to face Brock Lesnar in a rematch for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. So after the match, Paul Heyman got on the mic and he criticizes the announcement of Seth's victory. He was doing his own ring announcement, for Seth Rollins winning. He ends up talking about how Seth is going to be victimized and conquered. So Seth ended up getting on the mic. He ends up telling Paul Heyman to shut up and step aside so that he can speak directly to Brock Lesnar. So Seth says he's a man possessed, and he promises that SummerSlam will look a lot like WrestleMania. It looks like it's going to be WrestleMania again at SummerSlam. Exactly what we saw at WrestleMania. So he says SummerSlam will look a lot like WrestleMania when he stomps Brock's head into the mat and stands over him as the reigning, defending Universal Champion. So he tries to get Brock Lesnar to come down. So he wants to fight Brock Lesnar. Brock, merely walks up to the ring and he has a chair in hand. He ends up being the chair on the apron. And Seth was like, "Come on, Brock. Come on, Lesnar." And Raw goes off the air. So that's how Raw ended tonight. There you go. Seth Rollins facing Brock Lesnar once again in a rematch for the Universal Championship. A WrestleMania rematch or rematch so Seth Rollins could get his Universal Championship back. So there you go. All in all, like I said, this was a shitty Raw. Aside from Bray Wyatt appearing, and taking down Finn Balor. Aside from that, this whole show was fucking garbage. So, but who knows? I hope SmackDown does better tomorrow. I'm keeping my expectations low because we all know SmackDown is turned into Monday Night Raw 2.0. So, but anyways, that's it for my Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, which will possibly be the SmackDown review. So, or it might be something else, and then the SmackDown review. So, until the next video, I'll see you all later.